all new. AM1150 WTMP.com.
All right. Here we go.
You go right ahead.
Alrighty. It's that time again. Tampa Bay, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Boy, I can't start the show because I gotta say something. You know, I've been saying this for a long time, so I am not gonna even waste any time. You know, I open the show, but I gotta say this. People at the United States Congress, U.S. government, they are playing real power games. Nobody lets anybody do any damn thing. I'm being straightforward. I get tired of people, well, they let, you know, and this wasn't fair and that wasn't fair. People, think about it. Anything Barack Obama could not do, he didn't. I know a lot of people say, well, he should have this and he could have that. No, he tried to do everything he could.
And he had control of the House and the Senate.
He had House and the Senate for 2 years.
That same thing with Bush.
Right. So the thing about it is, you know, everybody keeps saying, well, you know, cause we got a new Supreme Court justice. We got, you know, but we knew that. You know, at the end of the day, the reason Barack Obama didn't get the other Supreme Court justice was because he could not do it. You know, it wasn't like, well, we gonna be good and we gonna be fair and we think it's fair that he get to do it. No, that ain't how it works. And the fact of the matter that people keep saying, particularly black folks, y'all keep saying, well, Barack Obama, you know, they didn't let. You're right, they did not let. It's not a team sport when you get to Washington D.C. It's not a team sport. It ain't, you know, fair and this and that. You know, it is my side, your side. And every now and then you get somebody across the aisle to help the other guys out. Now, if you could get some Democrats or Republican to cross the aisle to vote your way, then that means that you got more power, you know, that folks giving you credit for. You know, and that's an art form. You know, every now and then you get a Democratic president, a Republican president that could get some folks from the other side of the aisle, from the other team, to cross over and help you out. It happens every now and then. It's not something that happens all the time, and it's not being fair. It's about power. And once we as black folks get to understand how power works, then we'll be more informed and we'll look at this stuff differently. Because we keep saying, well, it's fair. The fair, the thing that happened in February out there on 301 in Buffalo. That's the fair. If you ain't talking about that, then you ain't talking about nothing else, particularly when you're talking about politics in Washington, D.C. So, with that said,
Warm up.
I guess we can start the show. This is Porch Talk Radio. This is your host, Eddie Adams Jr., and your co-host, Gabriel Phillips, is here.
Live.
And we got a guest, and we'll introduce her later. You know, one of our favorite people on the planet.
Very nice lady.
You know,
smart too.
One of the favorite people to the program. So, because since we've been on the air, you know, this young lady's probably been our guest more than most anybody else.
She doesn't give up, Eddie.
We've had.
My goodness.
So again, if you want to call in during the show, I mean, if you want to call in Porch Talk Radio and be on the air, the call-in number is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. When Gabriel get ready to do his thing, he'll give you his number. You know, cause
everyone do it.
Because he been piped down the last couple of weeks. So I haven't got and had to take as many calls after the show. You know, for him.
We stirred up. I got stuff. Don't worry, we stirred up.
So anyway, for those who want to call me after the show, or those who want to call during the week, or you get some on your heart, some on your butt, either one. You know, you want to call, talk to me about it. You know, my cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number is 813-3312. You can text me, you can email me. Email Eddie at porchtalkradio.com. I-E, Eddie. All right, so we got all that stuff out. You know, all you folks on
We got some business to do.
Facebook Live. You know, you see we got the Trump, you know, Matt here, and I got the hat on. You know,
He's my brother from another mother. I got my hat on too.
You know, we got all the paraphernalia.
Absolutely.
And what we're gonna do, and I forgot to do this last week, and somebody called me and reminded me. So I know you guys will call and remind me when I forget to do stuff. So I don't forget to do it. That's why I do it the first thing when I start the show off the next week. If I forgot something that was important, I do it. So let me do this. Eddie Adams Jr., Porch Talk Radio. We have a slate card. We got candidates on it. I posted them on my Facebook. You know, I posted them, you know, on the website. You know, and I usually talk about them on the show. So last week we got in the show and got to go on, didn't do it. So somebody reminded me. So what I'm gonna do is make sure the slate card, folks who I am voting for, folks that I'm supporting in the 2020 November 3rd election, Donald John Trump for president.
Surprise!
Chad Cronister, Hillsborough County Sheriff. Bob Henrique, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. Monique Scott, Hillsborough County Court Judge, Group 7.
Smart lady.
Sandra Merman,
Oh my
Hillsborough
God.
County Commissioner,
We walk the streets.
District 6.
Literally knocking on doors.
Tamara Schamberger,
Oh.
Hillsborough County School Board, District 5. Sally Harris,
Oh my goodness.
woo,
Live.
Hillsborough County School Board, District 7. Danny Burgess, Florida State Senate, District 20. And Danny was supposed to be on the show today, along with Sally. And he got invited to be in Lakeland to introduce Trump Jr.
I think I'd rather be there too right now.
So Donald Trump Jr. is going to be
I
in
mean, I
Lakeland
love our show.
this afternoon, but with all the coronavirus stuff and all the screening and all the stuff you got to go through, you know,
Early.
when you're going to be, you know, that close to somebody in the presidential family, you know. So he had to be there, and he called me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Eddie." And I said, "I understand, you know."
Send picture.
You know,
Proof.
it's a good thing. So I didn't, you know, just blow us off, you know. And next week is his daughter's birthday.
Yeah. Now, Eddie, I just wanted to follow up what you just said. You had some awesome recommendations. In fact, I just voted early today over at the stadium. I'll come in on Hines Street. And the recommendation on the ballots, we had citizenship required to vote, yes, unless you want the Russians voting. And then raising minimum wage, no, we don't want the government mandating
Let me
that.
finish the candidates.
Oh, I thought you done.
And then you throw.
You did a break there. You breathed on me.
Yeah.
jumped in.
I took a breath.
Go for it.
Okay, Danny Burgess, Florida State Senate, District 20. David Pugo, City Council, City of Temple Terrace.
Okay, that's why I don't know.
And Karen Jarosh, Soil and Water Conservation. Now add your 2 cents there.
All right, 2 cents on recommendations on ballot amendments. The first one is citizenship required to vote. That should always be a yes, unless you want Russians voting or China, one of the two. Raising minimum wage where it's mandated by the local municipalities, absolutely not. Every time they raise the wages, people get fired because they can't afford to pay everybody that wage. Jungle primary, folks, that first word should tell you something right there, jungle. That's an absolute no. California does it, and look what shape they're in. Amendments takes 2 votes to enact, that's a yes. Extending time to transfer homestead from 2 to 3 years, that's a yes. Extend ad valorem tax discounts to spouse of deceased veterans, that's an absolute yes. So folks, this stuff is important. Remember, these are your local people right now. You make decisions right here. Please be sure to complete the ballot. The down ballot voters are so very important in our community. These candidates will be the leaders right here in our own town, in our county, and in our state legislature.
And these are amendments to the state constitution. So guys, this is not just passing a bill. This is changing the law.
Forever.
Understand the difference. It is not a
I didn't know
regular
that.
bill. When you make amendments,
Got it.
you're making amendments to the state of Florida Constitution. Which means you
Oh.
can't decide next year or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that, oh, I don't think it was right, I want to change it back. No, it don't work like that.
Okay.
It's a much more difficult process. So anyway,
There we go.
welcome.
Educating the people, Eddie.
Welcome. We got that out the way. And I need to say, I've heard, and I usually, don't. I try not to comment. I try not to comment.
But
But in the black community, I actually have been reading statistics, and more black males are voting for Trump this election season. I hate to say it, because it hurts y'all feeling. I mean, I don't really hurt. I don't hate that it's happening. I'm just saying
they make it better for themselves.
I'm just saying that it is happening, and the reason we actually got Joe Biden is because of black folks in North Carolina. The only reason we're gonna get Trump this cycle is because more and more black folks are waking up,
And Hispanics are lining up right there with them, Eddie.
leaving the plantation.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
Mental plantation.
before we get started, we got a caller, so let's go ahead and get the caller on the way. Then we introduce our guest and get on with the show. So caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Yeah, this is Wes calling from I-75 in Hillsborough County.
All right, welcome.
Listening to you on the radio. Just want to clarify some misinformation that's on your station. It was black voters in South Carolina, actually, that changed the course of the Democratic nominee, not North Carolina. So let's
Okay, thank
clarify
you.
that.
Thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Thank you for that.
We got some smart people.
And number two, these amendments, this is what a lazy legislature looks like. These amendments can all be passed as law by our legislature, but they choose to play politics with the public, and they put bad constitutional amendments on the ballot so that fairly poorly informed electorate votes for things against their best interest. So the idea of having to vote for an amendment twice before it goes on, the legislature doesn't do that. Why should the public be forced to do that? That's a really bad idea.
Right.
Also, the jungle primary, you had that right. That's a really bad thing for everybody. It also lessens the possibility of having minority representation, and I think that's a bad idea. But let's understand those 6 amendments on the ballot are what a lazy Florida legislature does that's not doing their job. So let's be very clear about that. You guys have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
We got
Thank
some
you.
smart people
We
out there, Eddie.
appreciate it. We appreciate it. So again, where I was in the part of the conversation is, black folks in South Carolina gave you Joe Biden. That's how, up until that point in time, it was a couple of people putting their foot in Joe Biden's butt, in that primary. And then, they were waiting till we got some states with some black folks in it, so he could exercise, whatever power he had.
You just pulled by the Scranton, remember?
Yeah, so you guys got to remember, when this whole thing is over with, and it's a lot of folks, in the hood that don't understand real politics, and that is my opinion. This Eddie Adams, this is my show. I can
You've
say
been doing
that.
this a while,
I
Eddie.
can say that.
You got a few years on this, Eddie.
So I get announcements, I get posts, I get all kind of stuff from black communities all over the country. And many of them, and if you're my Facebook friend, I have a few Facebook friends who are friends and family who are not Republicans. Okay, and so they get tired of it. But I'm just telling you, I have never seen it the way it is now. Black males all over the country are openly, outwardly supporting Donald Trump.
Eddie, I saw a little chart that showed 46%. They're looking at a 46% increase on black voters, and it was a lot of young males.
Yeah. Well, again,
They like being employed.
it's something that has happened, and like I say, in the past, it's never been this outward. They may vote, but they vote in private. They've not been, as outwardly spoken.
Yeah.
I've always been outwardly spoken. So
I can't imagine.
So
Such a shy boy.
so you guys understand. You know me. But now I have been joined. My voice and my effort has been fortified. And they had a conversation on one of the shows about black males and black females. It's a lot of black females that's coming on board too. Not as active as the black males.
Correct. Young black males too.
As the black males, but they're coming on board too. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm saying it, if Donald Trump wins the election November the 4th, he's gonna have to thank a lot of black males in this country for voting for him, because that's gonna be his margin of victory. I mean, because the white folks gonna, they're gonna break even. I can tell you that right.
You're right.
I can tell you that right now. It's, I'm listening and I'm looking and I'm seeing all this stuff. What's going to be the difference is the Democrats have always counted on the black vote. They just count on it.
And Hispanic.
Yeah, count on it, take it for granted. When they don't get that, that's going to hurt their butt. It's going to hurt their heart. It's going to hurt them in ways they've never been hurt before. Because again, it's that herd mentality. They just assume all blacks gonna do this, all blacks gonna do that. And I keep telling you folks, the black population is not monolithic. It is not.
See, and that goes against what the Democratic Party leadership has spoken, Eddie, and that's why I think they've just continued to ignore it. Right now they're courting, we'll give you reparations, and we'll give you the BLM.
That's what they think.
We'll give you Antifa.
That's what
and
they
more
think.
black businesses have been destroyed because of that, and more black lives have been taken because of the Democrat movement. It's been horrible.
Well, what it is, they don't realize, and I'm telling you whether you know it or not, you come in all sizes, all shapes, all colors, and all different thought patterns. You are no different than any other population on this planet. For some reason or another, they just assume all blacks are like we cows or sheep or some kind of herd animals, And I'm just saying, take pride in your strength, because what it's gonna do is gonna make both parties not take you for granted.
Oh.
It's gonna make both parties do what they're doing right now.
Paying attention and staying in the game.
Spend some time, spend some energy,
Spend some
and
money in your
spend
community.
some money in our community.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And that's where we got to go. Because when they know what you're gonna do, then they don't spend any money.
Why?
When they don't know what you're gonna do, then they got to spend money to find out, because that's what it's all about. That's how power works. Power works when the winner gets to dictate to the loser what just happened. So they get to say, you want this? Oh, you want that? Well, like Obama said, we won.
There's consequences. Yeah, get over it. Actually, he said that. Get over it. We won. Get over it.
Right. So
whoa.
So Porch Talk Radio is at it again. We do what we do. And I forgot to tell folks we're not politically correct. So I forgot. I forgot to say that. So I got to tell people, if you are upset and you're somewhere in a corner, you've already been butthurt. I'm just telling you, we're not politically correct. So if you're listening in and you expect to get the same pablum poop you've been getting all morning, all day,
Come on, strong, Eddie.
Not here.
The truth hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you won't get it here. So anyway, my guest is one of my favorite people on the planet, and you just kind of heard her. She kind of jumped in there. She's gonna make a difference in our school board. She's made a difference before. She was chairman of the school board, for a period of time, and now she's running again, and she made it through the primary. So this is the big deal. So after November the 3rd, on November the 4th, you're gonna have a new member. You have a new old member.
Recycled, Eddie. Recycled. That sounds nice.
Of the Hillsborough County School Board. And welcome to Porch Talk Radio, my good friend, your guest, and the next new old returning school board member, Miss Sally Harris.
YMCA.
All right.
Welcome to Porch Talk, Sally. How you doing?
Wow, wow. You can definitely get the truth on this radio show.
Be strong.
Be strong. Thank you for letting me come. We're getting down to the wire here, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for you listeners out there. I know that you've been through the turmoil if you have children. I know that. And you're saying, are we going to go back full speed in January as you hear the rumors about the numbers changing again? Right now, I can tell you that what I've heard, and I'm just like you, I'm the hearsay right now. Yes, they're planning to go back in January full speed. Some people are not happy about that. But one of the things that I stand for, and I want to make sure everybody knows I stand for it, and that is choice. I think we're Americans, and we know what's best for us. We know what's best for our family. So I think choice is the most important thing. So when it comes to going back to school, it should be your choice. So then there's the question about, well, what about the teachers that are compromised? You know, what don't they get a choice? Well, they do. If they don't want to go back face-to-face, brick and mortar, they can go to virtual school. And I think that that is something that you have to look at. This economy, this entire community, our community depends on us putting those kids back in school. Parents have got to get back to work.
Right.
Businesses are closing down. People are losing their jobs.
Forever.
Yes. And if we don't get some stability in our community, which is getting children in school, and the teachers who do not feel they are healthy and don't want to go back to school, they need to have to look at a life career change, maybe. Because we have to put those children in school. Now, you have the option to do virtual teaching, but you can't hold the district hostage. We've got to move forward. And I think that's an important issue, and it really is a huge controversial issue. And I thought it was something that we might want to put out. Maybe some of the listeners have a different opinion, but I just think that's important. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, you have a new superintendent. I know that many of you out there listening have put on hold your opinion of that man. And if you're really fair about it, the day he was handed the gavel to take over this district, the very next day, 24 hours later, the entire city of Tampa shut down.
Yep.
Wow.
So he was given a huge responsibility, not even knowing, nobody knew what to do with COVID. And he had 215,000 students' lives in his hands, 23,000 teachers and staff in his hands. And he did the right thing. He closed down. However, if you are out there ready to ask for his resignation, you really need to be fair. He has monitored this district. I don't know him. I am coming in not knowing this gentleman. All right? I do not know him. But we have to be fair. Just think of it as a business. We've got to give him the opportunity to really work the business. He's been doing, fire patrol on COVID for the last 6 months.
Yeah, sure is.
Or 7 months, I think
Right.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But now, come January, the clock's ticking. We want to see our F and D schools change overnight. We want to see teachers' morale lifted overnight. And we want to see the district balanced budget overnight. And all of that needs to be done. So the clock's, I think, as far as I'm concerned, if I am elected, which I feel that I'm going to be,
I voted.
because of your help, I think that we need to start his clock in January, and then by the end of the year, make a judgment on whether or not he's been able to pull this district ahead. The time period from the day he had to take over to now is almost a wash. It was nothing but putting out fires. So I'll open it up and let y'all ask me questions now that I've taken over.
Right. Well. Again, on Porch Talk Radio, normally what we do is open the lines up. For our callers, we got some pretty good callers out there. But what I do say is that part of this whole process has to be that there's a controversy right now, and somebody sent it to me. People send me stuff all the time. I guess that's because I got a good platform here, and they want to make sure it comes by. But there was a group that actually bought this superintendent here. So I got an email, that has conversation about one of the it talked about Pastor Dane.
Hmm.
And Pastor Dane, Steve Kona, the chief legislator, Gates, and a couple other folks who back in October of last year kind of got together, picked Addison Davis, and sent him to Tampa. So, so when he came,
Interesting.
yeah, well, I people who listen to my show normally got this back in November. They got this. I said, okay, they've already picked the superintendent. They already picked the superintendent, and I screamed and yelled as loud as I could. Before it all went, I said, okay, well, they doing interviews today. Now, and I picked the guy from West Palm. The guy from West Palm, looking at everybody's credentials, where they've been, what they was doing, all that kind of good stuff. The size of the school, county he was coming from, and the number of black and Hispanic and everything else. And it was very similar to Hillsborough. I'm just saying. The numbers were similar, the reaction, the problems were similar, and this guy came along, and every time they had to take a vote, somehow his name ended up on the top of the list, then when it all said and done, he won, but the reason I told everybody, the reason I was making a big fuss, is because it was supposed to be, they kept saying, this is fair, this is fair, this is fair. And folks from the community who listened to this show back then, I told you absolutely it was not fair, because I should not have known in November who the superintendent was going to be when the final decision was made in February. I told you guys, I should not have known.
Yeah.
So when I said that, the only reason I made it public was so everybody would know I knew. And if I knew, somebody else knew.
Sure, you're not gonna keep your secrets.
I told them that. I told y'all that when I started doing this radio show. I say, boy, they got the right one now, because if I know something, you gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know something, it's out the way, and it's kind of quirky, and they can't wink at me and say, shut up, Eddie, because that's one of the reasons I pay for this show myself. So somebody's like, I'm gonna pull your funding. Pull my funding, okay? Please.
There you go.
Pull my funding. At the end of the day, if you gonna pull my funding, I mean you're gonna give me some money. Because right now ain't nobody giving me no money. And I'm doing this show, because it's something that important to the community. And we do stuff and we say things that nobody else is gonna say. See, because nobody else got the freedom that we do. We got the freedom. So
I
we
thought
get
everybody had freedom of press.
well, they do, but it's paid for. See, it's freedom that's bought and paid for. See, and that's the difference.
This
See?
exchange, it has to happen when money
Yeah.
comes from somebody.
Like look at the American press now,
Oh, really?
and look at the Biden computer laptop thing.
Oh, no, Eddie, that's BLM, right?
That's not
Biden
real.
lap-
That's not real news.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink. So nobody would talk about it. Even when they were interviewing Trump on 60 Minutes. Well, what about this? Trump said, and then the lady said, well, that's not news. We can't confirm that. We can't this. We can't.
And the FBI already did. They had it for a year.
I just what I'm basically saying, folks. Especially folks in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
They give you what they think you want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
and then they manipulate you with that information.
Sounds like a politician, Eddie.
That's the
Yes,
game.
sir.
That's the
Sounds
game.
like a politician.
And that's my problem, because, I tell you, my community come first. It's not about the Democrats, it's not about Republicans, it's not about the independents. Somebody gonna do some stuff that I know on this face value or that I think on this face value you're gonna hurt this community, then guess what? I'm with the community. I'm with the community first. And that kind of befuddles a lot of black folks in the community, because they love hating Republicans. Oh, he's the black Republican. But see, they can't hate me because I'm a black Republican. Because I would do more and have done more and volunteer for many things within the community. So at the end of the day, if you hate somebody because they're a Republican, then you can't hate me because I do far more stuff for this community than I do for the Republican Party.
Eddie, you're sounding more and more like a Donald Trump commercial. Just because all these rap artists are now on his side, and 50 Cent don't want to be 20 Cent, and Charlemagne and all the rest are
Yeah.
jumping on board because they say this guy has done stuff for the black
people in this nation.
Well, they got Ice
more.
Cube. Now everybody hate Ice Cube. Now last week they were loving Ice Cube, but now Trump, he's on Trump bandwagon. You know, they hate him. See, like I say, that's because they don't understand. It can't be a reason for this many black folks who are not dumb, not stupid, fairly intellectual. Some of them got their own money.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it ain't those kind of things that usually persuade a bunch of people. You know, it's got to be something else. And the fact that it's a lot of things that could have been done in the 8 years before Trump became president, because I would have suspected, you know, Joe Biden, who now going to fix the world.
After 47 years doing nothing.
You know, and Obama, who was actually a black president.
He took the model.
To have done some things, you know, but now complaining, well, Trump stole this and Trump stole that. I'm like this. At that level of power, people do what they can do if they want to and can do
That's
it.
right.
Now, you can make one. I got a great idea. I'm going to tell you something else. I got a great idea. Why don't we make Juneteenth a national holiday? Juneteenth has been around since 1865.
Oh, really?
That's when Juneteenth is. That's what the celebration is about. Why hasn't somebody done it? Now, I got black folks saying, well, if Trump's going to make it a holiday, then I don't. See, that's how stupid we are. See, because, you know, the MLK holiday, Ronald Reagan did that, for y'all who don't know.
No, he's white.
But I'm just saying, he the president, and he's a Republican president, and he gave them the MLK holiday.
So you saying they're paying more attention to black people than Eddie?
I'm saying, you know, sometimes things don't make sense within our own community.
Okay.
You know,
The Hispanics are the same way, Eddie.
and we try to push it off and act like, you know, I'm like this. If it's gonna help this community, if it's gonna do some stuff that's gonna make our plight in this world better and easier, I don't give a crap who you are. I don't care if you pink with purple polka dots. If you're gonna make it better, because I mean, you know, the fact that Donald Trump say I'm gonna put $500 million into the black community, I'm just saying that's a lot of damn money.
Didn't he make that renewable automatically?
What he did was his donation is $25 million to the United Negro College Fund and the historically black colleges that he gave. He made that renewable.
So they don't have to go back every year.
So they don't have to beg for it every year. And he gave them an office in the White House.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I'm just saying.
You sound serious suddenly.
Well, but he didn't just do that. He didn't do that for this election. He did this when he first took office. That was 4 years ago. Okay, we got a caller. I guess y'all got tired of me ranting and raving. So welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hi. I'm calling from Tampa. I'm Miss Rogers, and the reason I'm calling is because I'm listening to your propaganda, and you said that anything that is beneficial to your community, you want to support that. However, your co-host just said that he would vote no for Amendment 2 to increase the minimum wage, which is not a living wage. $15 an hour isn't a living wage, but a minimal increase is better than none. And as you were stating, you know, you have the ability to pay for your own show, so you don't have to answer to anyone, and that's a good thing. But, you know, what you're saying in regards to President Obama is not completely an accurate statement. Because of the Senate, they were not able to achieve a lot of their goals. But then, in addition to that, when President Obama took office, people received unemployment benefits for a much longer time than I had ever known that to happen. And in addition to that, funding was given to each state to help residents or citizens to prevent foreclosures. And the state of Florida took the money and used it for other purposes. And they do the same thing with the Sadowski Fund at this present time. So, you know, when you're telling your stories, you really need to be sharing accurate information with the people. And a lot of those amendments, Amendment 1 doesn't need to be changed. That's a no for all of you citizens out there. you heard the conversation earlier today. This is a Republican message that's going forth.
Absolutely. Thank you for recognizing that, ma'am. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Okay, but okay. Let me explain something to you. To you, and from your point of view,
Absolutely, man.
you see things differently than I do,
Mhm.
and that's okay. It's just that
America.
this is a platform. So, but you got 10 shows on this TV airway,
Radio.
that are Democratic. And y'all get to say and do all y'all stuff, And then when I come on and I say my stuff, even though you may disagree with it, because I got a platform, I get to say it. You
That's
see what I'm
right.
saying? I don't think $15 an hour is a living wage. But the people who make $8 and $9 an hour, what they need to do is go back to school and get some more skills so that they can actually get a job
Vocational training.
Oh, my goodness.
that pays more than $15 an hour. If you say, okay, every job is worth $15 an hour, not one business person in America will tell you sweeping the floor is worth $15 an hour. I'm telling you, it's certain jobs in a company that's not worth $15 an hour. And for you to think that every job is worth $15 because somebody's marketing firm came up with the $15 an hour in Seattle, Washington, I think that's where it started.
Lots of layoffs here.
And the lifestyle and the cost of living in Seattle, Washington is different than it is here in Florida. And here in Florida, $15 an hour, you can pay 2 employees to do the same job for $15 an hour. I'm just telling you, because the minimum wage in Florida is 8 something. So you saying we're gonna double this? So everybody here makes more money except for the person that owns the company.
It'll put businesses out of business because the small business can't maintain that overnight.
Right.
Overnight.
Well, there's something called microeconomics. I actually had a class one time,
Uh-oh.
and I was studying to get my MBA, and part of that is that every position in your company has a value to the overall company. That value tells you when to hire people, when to fire people. I mean, there's actually a formula that they go through to determine what those numbers are. You got fixed costs, which is your light, water, employee salaries, benefits, all that stuff. That stuff don't change. Then you got stuff that's flexible. You got stuff that's variable, and that stuff change. So what you do as an employer, you determine how much the janitor's worth, how much the dishwasher's worth, how much your tech people is worth, and you determine what the salary is and how long the company can pay them people at that rate and stay in business and make a profit. I'm just telling you, because they brought it up. If it's something they brought up that they don't understand. So $15 an hour to everybody, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm not calling somebody stupid, I'm just saying that is stupid, because economics will not allow you to pay everybody in this country that work for anybody $15 an hour, because every job is not worth $15 an hour to the company. I don't care if you're the owner of the company.
Now, Eddie, you brought up some good points about Seattle. Seattle also did this idea of making it mandatory in the city on the $15 an hour, and a lot of the restaurants, a lot of the service industries in that area had to lay off
Yes.
a lot of people, because what people don't understand, to make $15 an hour, that employer has to match it with taxes and everything else on top of that. In fact, what happened, Eddie, within a very short 45, 60-day time frame of people getting that $15 an hour, they actually began to complain and say
Right.
that was too much because it was knocking off some other benefits that they were getting from the city otherwise. Ooh, nobody thought about that one.
Well, there's a lot of health professionals who get certificates and go out and get skills that don't make $15 an hour. So, and those people are gonna be working. Those people are gonna go to work every day, punch the clock, do whatever it is they got to do, and they have skill sets. These minimum wage jobs are not made for you to raise a family of 5 on and maintain a lifestyle.
Living on the water with a new car.
Wasn't meant that way. It was meant for students, meant for old retired people who just need a couple extra dollars for the income.
Get
It
out of
is
the house.
not raised, it was not meant for you
No.
to raise your family, to be 23, 24, 30, whatever, and raise your family off $8 an hour. That's what the minimum wage is supposed to be. It's a stepping stone into the employment, business, industry, career, life, whatever it is. And from there, you get a better job and a better opportunity and more skills and this and this and this. And by the time you get to be 40, 50, 60 years old, you're making $20, $30 an hour. That's the way it's supposed to work. If you start at $8 an hour and 10 years, 20 years later, you still at $8 an hour, that is your fault.
Amen.
Because there's Votex, there's night school you can
Yeah,
go to,
yeah.
and Eddie, you keep opening the doors, these other things, and go look for other opportunities. It's not, man, that's a misunderstanding in liberal America, is that 8-hour job is supposed, $8 an hour is supposed to support the family.
Right.
It was never designed for that.
No, it wasn't.
If you've got to work 2 or 3 of those jobs, it's time for you to begin to reevaluate your life and get some more education.
And get some,
A welder in an apprenticeship program starts at $20 an hour.
yeah.
And the skill to become a welder only takes about a year part-time.
Yeah, I went to
Wow.
welding school last year myself. I did that myself. Okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello? Hello,
Yeah,
caller.
this is Wes calling again from the highway.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so continue to listen to y'all show, and I appreciate your braveness and putting out the information not always correct. And so when we're talking about raising the minimum wage in Florida, it has nothing to do with the minimum wage in Washington or Seattle. Let's just be clear on that. We know that minimum wage is not kept up with inflation. It's a math problem, not a wage problem. And all Florida employers and employees just it needs to be a rebalance of what people are being paid. We know it costs more to live here. We know our food, our bills have gone up. We know that things are difficult. This is just bringing wages up with inflation, and that's just fair. So let's be perfectly honest
But
here.
see, you got the wrong show for fair. You
Oh,
got the wrong show
my
for
goodness.
fair, because at the end of the day,
Well,
saying something ain't
this
fair don't
caller-
work here.
Putting out, this caller is interested in putting in some clarification to the misinformation they're hearing on your show. So let's be clear about that.
Okay,
Your show.
well, okay.
Your show.
Again, at the end of the day, what you said that was important, well, you say it is my show. Now, if you call and say that I said something wrong, something that's not an opinion, then that's okay, and we'll accept that. But to say I'm wrong, I can show you. Matter of fact, they got a class called microeconomics. Take microeconomics, look it up. They will tell you what every position is. It ain't got nothing to do with the cost of living and keeping up with inflation and keeping up with this and keeping up with that. To that employer, what is important is the cost of every position that he got to pay your salary for. That's what's important. And is it worth that to the company? If not, he got to let you go. If he gets somebody in that will do your job cheaper, he got to have the opportunity to hire them. And that's what it's worth. And what it costs to live in New York, and what it costs to live in Dallas, and what it costs to live in Seattle are all different.
Mhm.
Of course, obviously. But I just want to offer some clarification. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Keep
Thank you.
listening.
You're
God bless you, sir.
You're welcome. All
That's
right,
awesome. I love that guy.
Let's get this one more call in, then do on this day,
Oh.
and then
Is it almost time for that?
then do your
Oh,
thing.
my goodness, look at the time.
And if you're trying to
Time flies
call
when
me
you're
on my
having fun.
cell phone, don't call me on my cell phone because I'm trying to do a radio show. So anyway, after the radio show goes
Oh, no.
off, I take your call. All right, so next caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hello, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay, good. My name is Mike. I'm calling you from Tampa.
Okay.
And I was listening to your program, and the reason that I voted against it was for that same reason, because in the environment that I work at, they don't, it's those labor temporary agencies
Mhm.
that are hard, that are the only avenue that so many of these guys have.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Find employment. First of all, these companies wouldn't hire us. Number one, the very agency that we work for, maybe they'll give you 9, maybe they'll give you, if you're really good, 10, but they're not going to give you much more than that. And and what you're going to wind up doing is if it ever passed, the companies that would need you wouldn't hire you at that rate. They'd go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And for those small businesses, they're going to do the same thing that happened when they had the Obamacare. They're going to cut your hours.
Yes.
They're only going to make the full timers. Maybe you'll be working 30 or less per week. They'll get around it. They're not going to pay that kind of money willy nilly and across the board. They'll save it for few employees and that's it. But the rest of them, they're out of luck. No, you can't go do that. I agree with you guys completely, and that's why I voted against it.
And keep listening, sir. We
Well, thank
appreciate
sir.
you.
We appreciate it.
God bless you.
Absolutely.
You
Thank
better be quick, Eddie.
Have a great day.
Okay.
It's running fast.
On this day. Let's see if we can get this in. And I have a lot of people. I've had like 5 people call me during the show, and I keep saying, so if you're listening to this show, you're calling me, you're wasting your time. I can't answer my cell phone while I'm trying to do this radio show.
And I'm not going to do it.
So anyway, on this day in 1836, that is December the 24th, Alonzo D. Phillips received a patent for the phosphorus friction safety match.
Excuse me?
Okay, you know when you strike a match, the red part,
Yeah.
that's phosphorus.
Uh-huh.
That's why the match lights.
This boy's family is rich forever.
And again, he did that in 1836.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's been around a long time. But a lot of people take stuff like that for granted.
Yeah.
But somebody got paid for that. Somebody invented it. Somebody patented it. And the fact that it's still around and they ain't found nothing better than a good old-fashioned match means that they will continue to get paid as long as folks are using matches. On this day, October the 24th, 1901, daredevil Anna Edson Taylor became the first person to go over Niagara Falls in a wooden barrel. She was 63 years old. First person, male or female.
Wasn't divorce easier?
She went over
I'm just
Niagara
saying.
Falls in a barrel.
Oof.
On this day, October 24th, 1939, nylon stockings were sold to the public for the first time in Wilmington, Delaware.
What year?
1939.
Okay.
Women started wearing
So
stockings.
Joe Namath started wearing them in the 70s.
Yeah, he did. On this day, October 24th, 1940, the U.S. started the 40-hour work week.
That was a Ford thing.
It went through, that's what we just got talking about. It went through the efforts under the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. And if you know, that's when Roosevelt was president.
Mhm.
And on this day, last but not least, on this day, 1960, all remaining American-owned companies in Cuba were nationalized. The process of nationalizing U.S. and foreign-owned companies' properties in Cuba began on August the 6th, 1960. So on this day, everything in Cuba belonged to the Cuban government.
And poverty soon followed.
All the hotels, motels, all the private property, yachts, all the other stuff that belonged to foreigners, foreign companies, foreign government, foreign interests, became the property of Fidel Castro and the Cuban government. All right, Gable.
Just some quick points here, folks. Have you guys ever heard of Van Jones? He is not a conservative. And actually, it's kind of gone on some socialist rants occasionally. But Van Jones just recently said, I think it's really unfortunate because I get beat up by liberals every time I say it. But I keep saying it. Donald Trump has done good stuff for the black community. This is from Van Jones. Now, for the rest of us here that talk about violence and we don't like it and it should never happen and no one should have any guns, just remember, some men are morally opposed to violence. They are protected
by the men that are not. We can sleep safely in our homes at night usually. Prager University, if you guys ever heard of Prager University, they did a survey with 11,000 people, and they asked, what is the bigger determinant of your vote? Policy or personality? 96% of the 11,000 people that were in on this survey said policy. Is it good for the country? Is it good for the people? 4% said, I don't like the way he looks. I don't like the way he talks. Charlemagne, we talked about this earlier, talking about young black male voters. Breakfast Club, the co-host Charlemagne, was saying that President Trump's efforts to reach out to the young black male voters is working. The group that never gets kept courted, usually by the politicians, the young black male vote. During a CNN Tuesday night, Charlemagne was asked about prominent black men who have either endorsed Trump or expressed willingness to work with him, alluding to 50 Cent and Ice Cube. And the CNN co-host said, they're kind of just clowns on this. And Charlemagne said, well, I believe in what Trump has done in reaching out to the black community. I guess you'd call me a clown too. Ooh, that is sweet. Standing strong, folks, keeping the faith. Voting time is here. Go vote.
All right, Sally. Last but not least,
It's gone quick, Sally.
whatever you want to say,
Say it fast.
how to support you, what your plans to do. And someone sent me a text and said that the school board county don't spend money fairly with black businesses, and if there anything that you would do with that. So,
Oh, good. Gotcha.
So
Well, actually, I'm glad that came up. When I was on the board before, I attended that meeting where the vendors meet with the district, and I was getting very involved in that right at the time that I went off the board. So, yes, I'll get back right on that immediately.
Awesome.
Because we do need to support small businesses, and I went to a brand new business last night for dinner, and it was a black community new restaurant owner that was and veteran at that,
Ooh.
and it was awesome. It
What's
was
the
awesome.
restaurant?
Avila,
Avila?
Avila, I think is the
Okay.
name of it. Yes, and it was delicious food. I had
Where?
way far away on Lutz.
Okay.
Okay.
Lutz America.
Yes,
Got
Lutz,
it.
way far away, but it was great.
That's
And,
awesome.
and so I just want to tell the voters to remember going to the polls. District 7, Sally Harris. I'm on the ballot, Sally A. Harris. And I also would like you to look, for those of you who are in the district, to look for Congressman District 14. Check out Christina Quinn. She's got a different outlook on things, and she could be a real supporter for our Trump, who needs the support up there. So kind of check that out too. If I am elected, when I am elected,
There you win. There you
When
go.
I
We got
am
this. We got
elected.
this.
I just want to tell you that I have spent a lot of time in the black community. I support the black community businesses. I'm a business owner myself, and so we have meetings, we talk about business leaders, and I know the district has continued a diversity group that actually, Eddie, you and I sort of got that one started,
Right,
if you
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
about 6 years ago. And I know that they're still working on that, so I hope to be involved in that. And I work with the Title VI people, which is the Indians and Alaskan born. And so I am trying very hard to get back on the board, and it will take your vote to get me there.
Well, thank you very much, Sally. And for those, I would have been celebrating my birthday party last weekend at Sally Harris's Circle C Ranch. Is what I did for the first several years when I started celebrating my birthday. Sally, like I say, Sally's been a long, good friend, and I've been a supporter of hers. She's been a supporter of mine, and we want Tampa Bay to not forget. And again, I bring you people on this show who I know and people who I think are going to be good for this community. So at the end of the day, it's always about you. It ain't about me. I get people want to call in and argue and cuss and fuss, and those are people who not listen to the show before, so they don't understand. It's a lot of shows you can call in and a lot of audiences that you can talk to who are gonna receive some of that stuff you're pushing, selling, giving away. it don't work here. I'm just sorry. The nature of our show, like I say, I had somebody say, well, we wanna help you and banter back and forth Democrat Republican ideas and
Why?
policies and stuff.
Why? Go
And
to
I,
CNN.
yeah, and I said they got so many shows that do that already.
Yeah,
The
no.
nature of this show is we are conservative. I am a Republican. I am black, Gabriel Hispanic. And at the end of the day, our message to the communities we are talking to is different from all those other messages. So that you don't get it confused.
No.
We say black and we say white and we don't pander.
You're not being PC, Eddie.
And we're not politically correct.
Oh.
And you know it, I know it, and it only takes the new people a couple of shows to find that out. So until next week, Tampa Bay, it is good to be back. It's good to be with you. And we got one more show for the election. So hopefully you're with us next week, and we'll do this again.
We'll just play YMCA music in the background.
We love you. Until next week, same bat time, same bat station. Bye-bye.
God bless America.